Simon Marshall.
So much, matey. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. By the way, just to complete this, we have a famous comedian who died many years ago called Spike Milligan. Some of you might know him in the UK. And on his tombstone, it said, "I told you I was ill." So, but anyway, I'd like to tell you about something that happened to me 25 years ago. 25 years ago, when I had an experience with a lady called Sue, which, wait for it, which changed my life forever. Completely set me on a different course, right? And it's not what you think it's going to be, because I can see you think like I think, right? But here's what happened to me. 25 years ago, in 1987, I happened to be a young and thrusting engineer. I'd studied engineering at university, I'd worked with Unilever, and I was sent out to America to commission a plant, a new innovative food plant with about 30 people that were going to run it, and I was the engineer that was going to get it from the people that had built it over the line to make it happen, right? And this was where it was. It was, thanks to Google Earth. This is where it was, right? And something extraordinary happened to me. This was in the US, in New Jersey, in a place called Princetown. I was sitting in a meeting with a whole bunch of engineers, commissioning, pump XYZ and conveyor belt. We need to move this, and we're going through all this detail. And suddenly something happened to me, and I said, well, I know that people are going to run this plant are over in that other room getting trained in HSE and health and safety and food stuff, and all that sort of stuff. But has anyone asked them how they want the plant laid out? And the exact response I got was, what? The operators. All right? So I said, and then the meeting continued with all the technical stuff. Anyway, so cut a long story short, I met Sue, the lady I talked about. I went and saw them, and I said, so, tell me about you. And she said, I'm running a team of 25 people, and I want them to do their life's work here. I want them to enjoy their work, and I want working together as a team to be the best thing of their lives, right? Interesting, I thought. So, to cut a long story short, we got them in, I showed them all the plans, they said, no, turn that stuff round, give us better access over here, change these things here, right? And surprise, surprise, the plant started up, the best in Unilever's history, no problems, all fantastic. I was offered the production manager's job. Don't know why. Something happened there. Those changes that they suggested, the operators, weren't significant, didn't make any difference at all. But I realized that they'd just taken ownership for something. It was their plant. Wow. Because up until this stage, I'd been fascinated about how things work. I was going to change the world by engineering, am I allowed to swear? Engineering the shit out of the world, right? Creating great stuff, right? That was going to change society and add to society. And then something happened, and I was fascinated by how things work. And then all of a sudden, I became fascinated about how people work. So, that was 1925. That was 25 years ago, 1987. I'm not that old, right? And then I've had a fantastic career working with a load of inspired leaders who wanted to create what we call why-based businesses, unleashing potential in people, letting them do their life's work, creating an environment where they can bring their whole self to work, not be operators, right? And then wind forward to a couple of weeks ago. This is Ty. He cuts my hair. He colours it in this sort of interesting shade of grey. You see, because it's really no, he doesn't do that. But I don't usually get my hair cut with him. There was something about him, right? And so I asked to have my hair cut by Ty, and I said, why are you a hairdresser? Why do you cut hair? And he said, because every day I get the opportunity for people to walk out of this room feeling more confident and better about themselves. Wow. Wow. A hairdresser, a haircutter. Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? So I've been in this inquiry about what causes people to relate to their world in this way as Sue and Ty did, right, ever since. And we're going to get into a bit of a conversation here, and I'm going to get you to develop a model here. What causes people to take leadership of their own lives, to engage others, and to really inspire other people? Right, so here we go. Simple model. We are all, and all organizations, God, blimey, you must be strong. I can't get the cap off. Right. What is it? I'm going to give you some letters. What is it we're all responsible for? And it begins with R. We all want to create. Come on, quick, quick, quick. Pardon? Results. Brilliant. Whoever said that. What's the source of results? And I'll give you a clue. Come on. Pardon? Ambition, maybe. Yep. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Actions. The actions we take create the results. I told you this is simple, right? Now, this is the difficult one. What's the source of the actions we take? People? Not the word I'm thinking of, so it doesn't count. Carry on. Purpose. Keep going. Pardon? No, keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on. How long we got? Perceptions. How we perceive the world drives the actions that we take, that drives the results that we get, right? This is very interesting. For example, if I was to run across that road and not look, I'd probably get, run over. I know that. A 4-year-old would have a different perception, would try that, and there may be some disastrous consequences. But this is interesting. Ty, Sue, have a perception of their world. They're not defined by being operators or hairdressers. They're ordinary people that have chosen a different perception, which gives them access to different actions, which gives them to different results. And don't we all worry when we get stuck in that cycle of kind of, just here without changing this? Sort of, let's do more, let's work harder, let's do more actions and get better results and better results. No, we often need to focus on the perceptions, how we relate to our world around you. In fact, over dinner, we were talking last night. If this is true, that people intervene based on their perception of the world, not the world itself, isn't that a powerful thing to think about? To test with other people as to what their perception, how they see the world. In fact, we often say, we don't describe the world we see the world we describe. That's very, very interesting. That gives us great access to who we're being to create the actions that we want and the results that we want. We don't describe the world we see the world we describe. So, who wants to be that sort of leader? I can feel a woohoo moment coming on. Who wants to be the sort of leader that can define where they want to be, can define a perception, can be like Ty, can engage others, and can have satisfying and meaningful lives? Who wants to be? Woohoo? Woohoo! Right, okay. So here's the next question for you. That wasn't a very good one. We'll do another one later. So, we all want to be leaders. What's the one thing and only thing that I'm thinking of that you need to be a leader? Shout, 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 quick. A follower. Brilliant. You go to the top of the class. That's all you need. Hey, woohoo! That's all you need. All you need to be a leader is a follower who chooses to follow you for themselves because they believe what you believe, like I followed Sue, like I followed Ty. These are ordinary people. These are people who've taken a stand, chosen to create a life that's meaningful and is fun and enrolls others. Followers. Right. Brilliant. You guys are good. So, Mr. Simon Sinek got into this inquiry about what is it that's special about leaders who create those followings, people who choose to follow because they believe the same things as he believed. And in a fantastic TED Talk of 2009, which you should see if you possibly can, I'll just get Ty off the screen, he found out that those people think, act, and communicate in exactly the same way, and it's the exact opposite of everyone else. Do you want to understand what the simple model that he created to explain that? And it goes something like this. called the golden circle. And let me just define these terms. Everyone knows what they do. Some people know how they do it, but very few people know why they do what they do. Okay? So it's easy to say, I'm an operator, how I go about that is I run a team of people. Great, that's not very inspiring, right? And Simon talks about this around Apple and Martin Luther King and the Wright brothers. But this is available to all of us, Ty and Sue. It makes sense. When you communicate from the thing you know the most about to the thing that you don't know the most about. But that's not what the inspired leaders do. And that's not what Sue or Ty did. They communicated from the inside out, from here. And so do some of the great companies that evoke leadership and trust and happiness in all their clients. I was in a queue in Las Vegas in an Apple store, right? Apple Mini was being taken back, right? It had caught fire, right? And the guy said, yeah, it's probably my fault because I was running too many apps. What sort of loyalty and followership does that create? That a customer is prepared to blame himself for a piece of kit that's caught fire. Those companies think, act, and communicate from the inside out. So this is where Ty and Sue started from and communicated out from, right? And the interesting thing about this isn't Simon Sinek's opinion. It's based in biology, not psychology, biology, right? Our human brain, the limbic brain, the center, if you take a cross-section through your brain, your limbic brain is connected to this why and this how, and the neocortex is outside. The limbic brain is responsible for all our human emotions, behaviors, but has no capacity for language. That's why sometimes when we make a decision, we feel happy. Why do we feel happy? I don't know, just got a gut feel about it, or I just feel good, right? That's the limbic brain talking. But the point is, no capacity for language. So this is why it's difficult for us to explain it. Everyone has a why. Everyone has a why, but being able to articulate it in order to attract other followers, that's the challenge. The other thing that Simon Sinek says, and it's true, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't choose to follow you because of what you do, they follow you because of why you do it. Right? So if you want to be those inspiring leaders, that is where you start. You start by discovering your why. You start by articulating, thinking, acting, and communicating from your why. There is just so much, I'm sure you'll agree, what's coming at us in this world that we can spend a swirl in here, can't we? But how to attract followers, think, act, and communicate, starting with your why. And when we deal with people on this level, a transactional level, we don't evoke those feelings of loyalty, of happiness, of connection, of followership, because we're not talking to the part of the brain where that resides. So that's what I've got to say on that. If we wind forwards a bit to organizations, where organizations often struggle is when there's a bit of a split. The why starts off with a big, clear purpose, because all organizations have a purpose. Then maybe someone in HR comes in and starts recruiting different people, and perhaps the founders did. And what we find is the why tapers off a bit and isn't talked about, and then the what does all this sort of strange stuff, And this is when you bring in those consultants to fix the what, right? Or you have lots of initiatives or lots of stuff like this, when really what you need to do is connect with the why. Think, act, and communicate, starting with the why, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, over a long, long career, I've come up with some learnings which I thought might be useful to share with you about all of this. So if I press this, these are learnings that I've had working with some fantastic organizations around the world. The first thing is we're only really happy when we're doing or being what we love. That's why starting with your why, your higher purpose and an organization's purpose is just a fantastic place to start. Secondly, happiness is inside us. It's not out there. It's not out over there. It's not in another time zone. It's in us. We can choose to be happy. We can choose to have that perception. And it's infectious, I'm sure you know. And to achieve both happiness and fulfillment, because you can do something for yourself, which might make you feel a little happy, but to get both happiness and fulfillment, do something for someone else, right? So, here's some ideas. You can go and discover your why online. Start with why.com. Look for a new book that's coming out. It's all good. Mark Twain, I was trying to get this quote in. Mark Twain said there's two important days in your life. The day you were born and the day you discovered why. What a lovely quote, huh? So there's lots of online resources. There's lots of stuff that we do. There's a book about how to find your why. And again, your why is discovered. It's not created. It's in every single one of us. It's in every single organization. It's just not talked about. It's just not discovered. Ask more limbic questions. How does that make you feel? When are you most happy? Because you access the center of this circle here and evoke those feelings of trust and happiness and loyalty. And learn and take pleasure from every small victory. So I'm going to leave you with a small video. It's only a couple of minutes. And then I'm just going to say one more thing after it. So here we go.
Do you know how we get fulfillment? You can be happy because you did things at work. You can be proud because you did things at work. You can be excited because you had a big success at work. But you know how you feel fulfilled at work? When you do something for someone else. It's the only way we get that feeling. Do you know why the statistics say that over 90% of people don't feel fulfilled by the work they do? It's not because of the job, it's not because of the pay, it's not because of the benefits. It's because we don't help each other anymore. We sit in our cubes and we work. And anything that we turn to anybody is because we need something, we need to get something. And yet we don't put ourselves out there simply for no other reason than to help somebody else. You know what generosity is? Generosity is doing something for someone else expecting nothing in return. At no point ever. It's not an equation. It's designed to help you feel good. Because when we are in groups, when we are surrounded by people who believe what we believe, trust emerges and our very survival and progress goes up. Make it about them, not about you. The fact of the matter is 100% of customers are people. And 100% of clients are people. And 100% of employees are people. I don't care how good your product is, I don't care how good your marketing is, I don't care how good your design is. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. We are social animals, we are human beings, and our survival depends on our ability to form trusting relationships. My question is what are you doing to help the person next to you? Don't you want to wake up and go to work for the only reason that you can do something good for someone else? Wouldn't you want them to do that for you?
So, thank you very much. Go and discover your why, go and enroll people in it, and make someone happy. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon. One simple question. Is it easy to find your why?
Yes. Do you want to know a bit more?
Yeah.
The thing is, those questions that I talked, when do you feel most fulfilled? When do you feel most proud? When have you contributed most to others, right? Those are the questions that get at your why, right? And there are well-defined processes, tools online, or indeed workshops that can happen that you can find your why. And it's a very uplifting process because, of course, you're talking about the very things that are most important to you.
Yeah, you're talking about the core of your life.
You are.
But I think finding your why is perhaps easier some places than other places. One example. I think it's not that hard finding your why if you work for the Red Cross, because they have a very clear why. We help others. No matter who they are, if they need help, we help. That's a clear why. But what if you are, let's say, an advertising company, a bank, or a weapons producer?
Oh,
could you find a clear, nice, beautiful why being in the weapon business?
Well, I think you could, yes. So the why usually has two parts. First of all, a contribution, something unique that you or the organization brings to the world that wouldn't be brought to the world otherwise if you didn't exist, and the impact that has on other people, right? Mm-hmm. The impact that it has on other people. So a weapons company is a tough one, and we had, interestingly, we had that conversation over the break. But I'm sure that weapons companies started with a particular why. It may be to supply people who are doing good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. To start with. But obviously things can drift, as I said. Oh, it's gone. As I said on the flip chart, right? Yeah. But I mean, for example, we did work with a bank or an advertising company, and what we were finding was they were producing brands, right, which were all sourced from the what, right, but didn't have a common why. And when we took them back, a bank in particular, to what their why was, and they believe in people, they give them credit, people who they call subprime, they didn't call them subprime after them, people who are struggling to get credit, right, they realized that they needed to change the way that they were branding themselves. They needed to change the way that they assessed people online, because they assessed people and said, no, you're not available, you can't get a credit card, you've not got the scores. They don't say no to them. If we believe in people, right, we don't say no, we say not now. And here's the things you need to do to up your credit limit. So everyone has a why. You can discover it, right? And that's the answer to the question. Rather long answer to a short question.
Yeah. And just one simple question at last. Why is your company called WhyNot?
Because it's a very optimistic company. And when we were creating it only about a year or so ago, I was speaking with my partner and talking about when the best engagements we'd had creating breakthroughs in companies. And we kept challenging the current assumptions that were in that business. And we kept saying, why not? You know, we can't do this because of something. Why not? We can't do this because of why not? And he went, we should call it Why Not. Okay.
So we're
challenge assumptions.
So we have two pieces of good news here. Finding your why is core business.
Yes.
And finding your why is possible for everyone.
Yes. Everyone has one. Everyone has you. It's in there. You just may not be able to articulate it for the reasons that I showed you, but it's easy to do that. Go online. You can sort it out. The resources are there.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Marshall.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. I'll take this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.